I'm going the star route because while I don't think you want Paul George to be the unquestioned leader in the locker room, probably not the number one option on a title favorite either, he does not get enough credit anymore. And I get why, because he's had so many high profile letdowns in the playoffs. It feels like every time he's featured in a postseason moment these days, it's for the wrong reasons, whether Damian Lillard was hitting a series-ending shot over him from a ridiculous distance, or he was a central figure in the 3-1 lead collapse against the Denver Nuggets in last year's playoffs, and had not great things to say in the pressers afterwards. Like, he's gotten a lot of negative attention to the point that I don't think he's getting nearly enough credit for being the nightly top 10 player that he can be. I don't think that's hyperbolic at all, given the suffocating wing defense that he plays, the versatility and the positions that he can guard, regardless of who that opponent may be, the ability to take over as a scorer from all three levels. We don't talk enough about how George has become an unquestionably elite three-point shooter. Last season, it was 41.2% on 7.9 attempts per game. This year, it's 42.2% on 7.6 attempts per game. That consistency from beyond the arc is huge, and he's coupling it with efficient free throw shooting, which is a must for this Clippers team that doesn't attack the basket enough. And we're also seeing him develop into maybe the best passer he's been at any stage of his career right now. Like, this is a guy who should be featured prominently in every conversation about the 10 best basketball players in the world. And instead, we want to remember the playoff failures, and that's just not fair to him.
I also think I agree with everything you said, which is why I thought it was fine that you went with a superstar here. I do think he's responsible for his own memes sometimes. I'll say that much. But it was really disheartening when he came out and said he was dealing with just, well, I can't remember if it was anxiety or just being depressed inside the bubble. There needed to be more empathy there. And there's stuff that's actually funny where he's like, I need to get back to that season, my MVP season. And you never won MVP. That's funny. But when a player comes out, let's not troll them when they're talking about it. It was even with, we didn't credit Montrezl Harrell wasn't really, he came to the bubble late, I believe, so there was that element of it. And he was also mourning the death of his grandmother. Like, there are human elements that we just need to consider a lot more. And it was kind of disheartening to see how much it was ignored with Paul George. Like, he was trying to say that to gain fake sympathy, artificial sympathy, or just some sort of clout. We need to figure out how to toe the line here better, because I actually think it's pretty easy to separate when Paul George deserves to be memed versus what is a legitimate excuse. So I'm with you on everything you said there, and that's the only other aspect I would add.
And I agree with you that he is responsible for some of those memes. Like, he does not say, well, he probably says the right things sometimes in press conferences that you just shouldn't say, because you know what the reaction's going to be, and it's just going to backfire even if you're being honest. And yeah, I mean, like, he has had letdowns in big moments, but it just feels like the general discourse is too quick to jump on the flaws and try to use him as a reason that the Clippers are just perpetually going to underachieve with this roster construction, instead of focusing on the fact that this guy is one of the best shooters in the world, one of the best wing defenders in the world, and can do so much between those two roles.